Hello, everybody. It's Valor Swanson here with customer experience in the cloud with LifeScience. And as you guys know from following us, we've been talking about all things customer experience in the cloud. And today we're having our final show. This is the 20th show on all the different things that we've been talking about. And so today I wanted to kind of take some time to review the things we spoke of, let you know where you can find them and exactly why these things are important, and summarize it with the three takeaways that I think will actually help you get these things in the right order and the right importance and priority that you need to make sure that your customer experience in the cloud is a great one. Sorry about that. I just broke the table. But anyway, guys, so let's talk about where we need to start. Now, you always need to start with what is the voice of the customer, VOC. So voice of the customer is something that will really make sure you're prioritizing the reason why you're going with any new technology out there. And specifically, again, we're talking about customer experience in the cloud, so we're talking about CCaaS. Now, in this graphic right here, we have a reminder that the customer, based on recent surveys, they want fast response times. Now, they don't want fast response times to the wrong answer. They want fast response times to the answer. And in fact, as we talked about one of the shows, the customer doesn't even want to call you in the first place. They don't even want to, chat with you. They just want stuff to work. They just want to know how to operate things. They just want to know basically, how to return things without having to necessarily reach out to you to get these things done. The second thing here is consistency across channels. Now, that means no matter how they reach out to you or how you're talking to them, they want to feel like they're talking to the same company, imbuing the same brand principles and values that make them purchase with you in the first place. Now, I'm gonna just not give you a bunch of factoids like I normally do. They're all in the blogs and the videos. So you know that this is very important that you're making sure that your brand is consistent across the board so the customer doesn't feel like, these guys aren't really, the left arm's not talking to the right arm. And of course, that comes through a knowledgeable staff. And that's where the agent experience and the agent ability to be able to support that customer with that technology provides that experience. Now, of course, I could go down and talking about these different items, but these are the top three things that when you're considering customer experience in the cloud, are we providing fast response times? Is there consistency across the channels? And are our agents knowledgeable and able to close out that call with that customer fast and appropriate and with that customer not having to basically contact you again? So with that said, let's kind of review the different shows that we did. So we basically kind of summarized some of the important ones, and well, they're all important, but the ones that really made a difference in how we were explaining this. Now, we set out to make sure that we were talking to you guys in a manner that actually was not overly technical. We didn't want to come across all, executive-like and talk down to anybody. We wanted to talk to somebody that that basically knew what they were talking about because of their background and history. And as you guys know, I ran a bunch of contact centers in the US, 21 in fact, at one point. So I just have to buy this stuff and deploy it and make sure it worked. So this is very near and dear to my heart from a standpoint of understanding how it works and how it makes a difference in the customer's experience. So we set out to do that. And as you guys know, we talked about all kinds of crazy things. So these are the more practical titles of the different videos, which all also have a corresponding blog. And we'll give you a link to where you guys can actually find those on the internet on our LifeScience website. So we talked about migrating to the cloud and why that's important, how that's an emotional decision, and all the investments that you've made. But the fact that the TCO and the actual ROI, including the customer experience benefits, make all the sense in the world to do that. Do you do it halfway or do you do it the full way? And again, we can go into that particular video there, and you can actually find out why that's important to know which way to which direction to go on that. We talked about Survivor Island. So here we were talking about Sociotech. And Sociotech is a method where you're actually looking at different systems, people, processes, and technology, and how they are interlinked with each other, and how when you do put a new technology into your environment, how you need to make sure that the corresponding components are all working together in a synchronistic fashion so that you're getting to the outcomes that you're looking for. How to boost contact center, CX through video technology. I'm sorry, the camera's here in the way. And then also the future of this entire technology. And we came up with a word called interchannel. Now, interchannel was a fancy way of saying channelless, which we spoke about later on. And channelless basically is true omni-channel. And true omni-channel is when a customer can call you in one channel, they can skip around and hop around in the same contact to a WhatsApp, to a video, to a call, to a chat, to get a PDF sent to them, to go to the web and click on here for the FAQs, and able to do that in the same duration of the same contact. Now that is a critical thing to be able to do, because that's how they're talking to their friends. That's how they're talking to grandma. That's how the students are talking about the party that they went to. We also talked about, and I'll skip a few of these. We talked about how AI and video actually can work together to support a better experience. We talked about how the contact center is and was the lifeline to your brand, and how you can completely screw it up if you don't get it right. And the fact that the experience itself is more important than sometimes just making sure that you're meeting your your SLAs. So just make sure you watch that one, because it gives you some fodder to go back to your executive staff to say, look, here are the more important things that we need to attend to in the customer experience in the cloud. They impact the first impressions. As you guys know, somebody makes a judgment call on you in 30 seconds. 84% of those people, if they make the positive judgment call on you, they will continue to do business with you for 2 years, and which is a huge number. So you got to make sure that you're putting that first impression, how AI can support that. We talked about how can you have an agent have an angel on your shoulder, and that's how the AI can do human in the loop and actually support them with next best action, so that the customer actually is getting things sorted for them a lot quicker, because there's somebody there supporting the agent actually getting things done within one screen, within one frame, so that they're not bouncing around between different systems. We talked about then also how to understand your customers through AI, how to build a profile of that customer, and how that AI can also provide suggestions and prompts to the agent on what the customer might need because of that particular profile, and also be able to support the customer if the customer doesn't want to talk to an agent. Going on in the next set of shows, we talked about the ability for AI to influence your contact center routing decisions. So this is where the agent is actually getting a call from a customer that tends to be grumpy, that tends to, the sentiment tends to not be that good. So you get an agent that, based on their profile and their behavioral skills, are actually able to support that customer's needs based on behavior. Okay. We talked about accelerating CX in the contact center. How can you make it happen faster? Opportunity costs. Again, we went really deep on omnichannel versus channel-less, and how channel-less really is true omnichannel, as I spoke about earlier. We talked about, I'm going to skip here. We talked about maximizing the call center efficiency through CCaaS technology, and maximizing efficiency, meaning basically effectiveness and efficiency being equal, so that a first call resolution occurs, so that you're bringing down your cost to serve, you're bringing down your cost per contact. We talked about how to maximize your contact center budget through CCaaS. How do you contribute to % profit growth through stripping cost out of an on-prem system, because you have the ability to do this in an OpEx budget versus a CapEx budget. We talked about how your contact center CCaaS provider is really somebody that company needs to be evaluated in a very succinct way. And we talked about why in this particular show, and why that's important. And some of the things that people tend to do is make some assumptions, and then they kind of get bit in the rear end at the end of it, once they've gotten it halfway installed and they're told, oh, well, that wasn't that, that didn't come out of the box. We talked about basically what criteria you need to use to actually evaluate your CCaaS provider. And also, basically some of the industry standards on evaluating those particular providers. So all of this, guys, is to support, remember the first slide, to support that customer first three main goals. And then also to make sure that experience is consistent across the board with these different videos and the subsequent blogs that we have available to you. Now, I'm going to summarize this in the three takeaways here in a second. And it's not going to be a very long show, guys, because we've talked, for 20 weeks here and all these different things. Actually, it's been more than 20 weeks, because some of those were mini series within the series. But the most important thing that you guys really, really, really need to think about is three core components as it relates to the goal that you're trying to achieve of customer experience in the cloud. So I have a graphic here that will show that. And really what you're trying to do is you're trying to align your business of the contact center with the business mission. And what is the mission? Oh, we're going to grow this much in such a period of time. We're going to have the best customer experience in such a period of time, or we're going to have it now, or whatever it is you're trying to do. And in doing so, there are three components that all of these different shows touch upon. Okay, they touch upon the business experience. Now, how do we define the business experience? The business experience is business growth, revenues, business effort, which is cost. You minus those two, and you get your business profits. And your job is to contribute to percent profit growth any chance you get. So that's the business experience. And then on the left-hand side here, you have the agent experience. And the agent experience is associated with the agent effort. And how do we make it easy for that agent to do their job? And then the agent's emotion. And when they're having, when they're feeling good and they're proud of the company that they're working for, and it's easy to do their job through a low effort situation, then their emotions are going to be able to connect to that customer's emotion and provide a good outcome, a good sentiment, a good CSAT. And that comes also in conjunction with the customer effort. Now, there are KPIs associated with each bottom point of those different triangles that you can use to measure to make sure you're aligned to your business mission. And if you look at the centerpiece there's a dollar sign. Now, that could be a pound sign. That could, because I'm in London. That could be a euro sign. But the point is that emotion there, right there in the bottom, where that's called the moment of truth, right there in the bottom, where the agent and the customer connect. And that emotional connection creates the purchase. It creates the customer lifetime value. It creates, the customer going on with Net Promoter Score and telling all their buddies about how great you are. And that, if you think about it, that grows your revenues. Okay, that reduces your business effort, and increases your business growth, which widens the amount of money that you're going to be getting associated with your business, so you can grow your business based on, the vision and mission that you actually were trying to accomplish. And so we took the conversation way beyond just customer experience in the cloud, and CCaaS technology is something that supports that. We're talking about how these things affect the humans in your business, which affects the success of your business. So, I could go on and on. I could talk about the psychology of the agents, the hiring process, training. It could just, we could be here, till the cows come home talking about these different things. But we pretty much captured it all in these three different triangles and in the 20 shows that we're doing, including this summary right here. So the takeaway, guys, today, I remember, I don't know if you guys have been following me, but we had the three takeaways, because I would always forget to give the three takeaways towards the end of the show. But the three takeaways today, guys, are, again, to summarize, is to consider the business experience. How is the CCaaS provider that you're looking at going to provide growth in sales and revenue to the business? How is it going to cut out cost? Okay. How is it affecting the agent experience, the agent effort, and the agent emotion? How is that emotion connection going to connect to the customer's emotional state, so that they make a purchase, so they did the Net Promoter Score correctly, and also that customer's effort? So you can take all of these shows, and they're linked to what the customer wants, and make sure you're touching upon in a very balanced way with those three triangles as to exactly what it is that you are trying to accomplish with these different components of CCaaS. So consider the business experience, number 1. 2, consider the agent experience, and then consider the customer experience, which actually, we started off with, but it's basically a full loop. Now, all of these different shows and the vlogs and the blogs are available on our landing site, which is going to be listed right here in the bottom. So please go down there. The videos are only about 20, they go anywhere between 15 to 25 minutes long, but then they're captured in a blog, which takes the data in a much more succinct manner, so that you can take it away. You get some tips and tricks out of there, and actually some action items that you could use so that you're successful in getting to your customer experience in the cloud. Now, Lifesize will continue to provide additional information to you guys in this area. And I want to close out with saying that I've been very cognizant of the fact that I haven't been pushing Lifesize as a CCaaS provider, even though we are a CCaaS provider. But the reason was because I wanted to be semi-agnostic from a standpoint of being a practitioner who's been on your side of the table, your side of this camera, and had to buy this stuff and deploy it and make sure it was successful. So it's very important that you kind of got an unbiased opinion, an unbiased experience, and unbiased facts that supported that, so that you could make a right purchase decision. And I will close out with saying that Lifesize has met all of these criteria. Every single thing we've talked about, Lifesize has at its disposal to provide you in a manner that you'll provide a good customer experience in the cloud. So with that said, guys, I really appreciate the time that I've spent with you guys, some of the feedback that you've given us, and we look forward to seeing you again with customer experience in the cloud in some shape, form, or fashion in the future. And thanks again for joining us today.